Hello students, welcome to the Standard 10 subject Science chapter number 3 Metals and Non-Metals. We are learning the topic properties of ionic compounds. We have already seen 4 properties of ionic compounds. Today in this video we are going to learn the 5th property of these ionic compounds. So what are the 4 properties that we have seen? The first one is made of ions. Second was solubility. Third one is melting and boiling point. Fourth we have seen was physical state of ionic compound. And the last, fifth, is electrical conductivity. We'll check the electrical conductivity of ionic compounds. Are the ionic compounds conduct electricity or not? Yes or no? Listen the answer. If the ionic compounds are in solid state, first one is if ionic compounds are in solid state, then we'll see, then they will not conduct electricity. If they are dissolved in water, means in aqueous solution, then they will conduct electricity. The second one, soluble in water, it means aqueous solution. In bracket I can write water. In this, compounds conduct electricity. And the third one, if they are in molten state. Third one is if they are in molten state, then they will conduct electricity. Now what do you mean by molten? Molten means we melt the compounds. We melt the compounds. These all 3 points are very important for the electrical conductivity. Why does this happen? In the solid state, the ionic compounds does not conduct electricity. In the aqueous solution, it means water, it will conduct electricity. In the molten state, it will conduct electricity. Why does this happen? Let us understand. Ionic compound like NaCl. Let us take the example of NaCl. Na plus and Cl minus, 2 ions we have. Who is this made of? They are made of ions. Now the question is that what we need to conduct electricity? What we need to conduct electricity? Either we want electron or ion. To conduct electricity, we want electron or ion. These 2 things we need to conduct electricity. Electricity is conducted by electrons or free ions. Now, what is in solid state? What is in solid state? The free ions are not present in solid state. Free ions are absent. Now you will say there are ions. You will say there are ions. These are ions. Yes, of course these are ions. We are not ignoring it, but they are tightly bounded with each other. Because of the electrostatic force, they are in solid state. As we have learned, the distance between the ions is 10 raised to minus 10. It means angstrom. So the electrostatic force is very strong. They are tightly bounded with each other. They are tightly attracted with force. It means bond. They are bound up with strong force. So free ions are absent in solid state. Ions are present, but the free ions are absent. So ions are not free to move. Ions are not free to move in solid state. Now, if ions will not move, then who will go by taking charge? To conduct electricity, we want electron or free ions. But here in the solid state, we have no free ions. So if ions will not move, then who will go by taking charge from one place to another? If charge will not walk, the current will not be made. This charge will not move, then current will not be made. Current is created when charge flows. When the current is created when charge flows. This point to be noted. Now, what do we need to carry the charge? Ions. To carry the charge, we need ions. But ions are not ready to go by taking charge. They are tightly bounded to each other. Why? Because of strong electrostatic force of attraction. So, in this solid state, there are no free ions. So, it will not conduct the electricity. Now, let us move to the aqueous solution. It means water. Now, what is in this? In this, ions are free. How did they get free? We have learned recently about the property of water. What is the property of water? Have you remembered? Property of water to make weak the force between the ions and to separate the ions is called dielectric property, as we have learned. These are two ions. This is the electrostatic force, and water has the property to make weak this force and to break the molecule, and it will separate the ions, and this is called dielectric property. So what happened to aqueous solution? Ions are free. Because of water, ions are free. They are free. So they will carry charge from one place to another. They are free. So current is created when charge flows with the free ions. So the free ions carry the charge from one place to another. So electricity will conduct. So electricity will be conducted. Now what happened in molten state? Let us talk about the molten state. First of all, what do you mean by molten? When we melt the ionic compounds. In molten state, the compound will melt, so their force will decrease. We have the ions positive and negative. That is the electrostatic force between them. This compound will melt. So the force will decrease. This is obvious. So ions will be free. They are free to move. So they will carry charge. Therefore, it will conduct electricity. Here in the molten state, we have free ions. So they are ready to move, to carry the charge. They will carry charge. So current is created. Now current is created. Therefore, they will conduct electricity. If asked in which of these three ions are present, in these three, in all three ions are present, but in which of these three ions are ready to move in aqueous solution or in molten state? If we are asked about the ions, in which of three ions there are ions? There are ions in all of these three states, but free ions are not present in the solid state. Free ions are only present in aqueous solution and the molten state. When you will heat compound, by heating it will get energy. If we'll give energy by heat, then chain will break. For example, you and your friends are standing by holding hands of each other and will start to give heat to you. So what will happen? Everyone are moving from there. So this is the property of electrical conductivity of ionic compound. So in this way, electrical conductivity happens in solid state, aqueous solution and the molten state. Now I am giving you the homework about the reaction of metal and non-metal. Metal and non-metal. First of all, magnesium and nitrogen, aluminum and chlorine, potassium and oxygen, magnesium and oxygen. You have to write the compound, ionic compound and the chemical formula also. So this is the homework for you. Thank you.